Okay, we're back here at Estes Field on the campus of Central Methodist University. Central Methodist won the first game there, 12-4, 12-5. They finished an 8-run, 6th inning there with that 12-5 victory. They're now 31-12, 21-4 on the year, while Park is 8-17. Park is 14-17, 18, 8-19 in the conference. We're about ready to get game number 2 going. Go ahead and set the defense for you there. That is sponsored by Casey's. In left field is Tanner Sears. Center fielder Bobby Nichols. Alan West in right field. At third base, Joseph Weatherford. Shortstop, Robbie Merced. Second baseman, Tommy Giarola. First baseman, Jeremy Conforti and Dominic Van Dorn. And is the catcher with today's starting pitcher, Clayton Burke. 6-3, 3.98 ERA, 15 walks, 54 strikeouts. Even though in the program he is from Portland, Oregon. But, of course, I've met his dad, Brad. They are now living in Columbus, Ohio. So we're about ready to get game number 2 going there. And the starting lineups for Park. Alex Rodriguez leads off to play shortstop. Yadiel Santana is at right field. Bryce Dye is at first base. Ricardo Hernandez is the DH. At Zane Morrow at third. Trent Turner is in left. Casey Marichal is the catcher. Kenneth Melendez, second base. And Daniel Maldonado in right field today, starting pitcher, Angel LeBron. We're about ready to get game 2 going. Here on this senior day, the final home game. There's Alex Rodriguez. The first game went 1 for 4. No homers, 10 RBI. Clayton Burke on the mound. Delivers the first pitch. Hits the ground ball to Robbie Merced. Throws over the first to Jeremy Conforti. 1 pitch, 1 out. Game at 4:06 p.m. The temperature around 60 degrees. The time and temperature sponsored by the parking spot. Easy to spot and easy to park. The parking spot here at Kansas City International Airport. Here's Yadiel Santana. In the first game today, went 0 for 4. No homers, 21 RBIs. Less than 2 hours away, you got Sunday Night Baseball. The New York Mets and the San Francisco Giants. Carl Ravage, Eduardo Perez, David Cohn, Buster Olney. Pregame show begins at 5 p.m. with baseball tonight. Kevin Connors, Jeff Passan, Tim Kirchin. The 1-0 pitch. Ooh, outside, 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Just underway in game number 2. The 2-0 pitch. Hits the fly ball. That could be trouble. That's a fair ball. Good job by Tanner Sears keeping the ball in. Looked like it was going to be a double, but it's a single. Good hustle there by Tanner Sears from keeping it from a double. Bryce Dye up the bat. In the first game today, went 2 for 4 with a single, double, 2 RBIs. He has 8 homers, 31 RBIs on the year. Burke on the mound, works from the stretch. First pitch. That's a ball, 1-0 to count. One ball, no strikes. One and 0 the count. The 1-0. Hits the ground ball to Merced. They'll go second for 1. The first, fielder's choice. So 2 outs now. Here is Ricardo Hernandez, who went 2 for 4 with 2 singles and an RBI. Hernandez has 27 RBIs on the year. 3 homers, 27 RBIs. First pitch. A little fish job to Giarola. Stays with it. He'll throw over to Jeremy Conforti for another out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And they leave 1. A 5-pitch inning for Clayton Burke. Way into the first inning. No score. We'll go ahead and set the defense for you there. It is sponsored by Commercial. It is sponsored by CNR Market. Trent Turner in left field. Center field is Daniel Maldonado in right field. Yadiel Santana at third base. Zane Morrow. Alex Rodriguez at short. Second baseman, Dan Melendez. First baseman, Bryce Dye. The catcher, Casey Marichal. And today's starting pitcher, Angel LeBron. 2 and 3, 8.140 ERA, 18 walks, 33 strikeouts. Here's the starting lineups for Central Methodist. Bobby Nichols in center field. Out, Robbie Merced is at shortstop. Jeremy Conforte at first base. Tanner Sears in left. Alan West is in right field. Tommy Giarola is at second base. Joseph Weatherford is at third. Khalil Thrasher DHing, and Dominic Van Dorn is the catcher. Bottom of the first inning there. Central Methodist won the first one, 12-5. They led 2-0 after one. Park led 3-2. Central Methodist scored 2 more in the 5th inning. That took a 4-3 lead. And then Park added a run in the 6th, and then 8 big runs in the 6th inning. 12-4, and then Park added a run in the 7th inning. So 6 good innings for Alan West. Here's Bobby Nichols. He went 2 for 3 in the first game of the doubleheader. 3 RBIs. Bobby Nichols has 18 RBIs on the year. No home runs. First pitch to him. Lines a shot in the right field. And a nice catch by the right fielder. As Mel Allen would say on This Week in Baseball, how about that? So 1 out now for Robbie Merced. Roberto Merced went 2 for 5 in the first game of the double with an RBI. Has 8 homers, 34 RBIs. Of course, met his dad, Orlando. Of course, great visit with him between games along with his grandma and grandpa. First pitch to him. Lines a shot in the right center field. That's up against the wall. Look at Merced go to second. He may be thinking 3. He is headed for 3. He's there with a triple. Holy cow. A 3-bagger. That can get the bats going. Remember that? In that 6th inning, they scored 8 big runs there. And here's Jeremy Conforte. 1 for 4 with a single. 8 homers, 42 RBIs. Great visit with him. Of course, saw his dad. He even took a picture of me in the press box. First pitch to him. Lines it. Fair ball. Merced scores. Conforti is thinking 2. He may be there. He is. That's a double. 1-0 Central Methodist. 43 RBIs on the air for Jeremy Conforte. Here's Tanner Sears, 2 for 4 with a single, double, 3 RBIs. 11 homers, 53 RBIs. Of course, had a great visit with him. Of course, his mom, Shelly. They even had a picture taken. I want to thank Shelly for taking a picture of me. They even took a picture of me throwing out the center field pitch on March the 12th. And that is a foul ball. Strike 1. 0-1 to count. 0-1 on Tanner Sears. 0-1 pitch. That is a ball. 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oh, yeah. 1-1 to count on Tanner Sears. Conforti's at second with the double. 2-1 to count. 2-1 now. Alan West is on deck. 2-1 pitch. Swings and misses. 2-2 now. Two balls and two strikes on Tanner Sears. 2-2 pitch. High pop up there. That may go out of play. Heading toward the park bullpen area. 2-2 to count to Tanner Sears. Of course, we got some NHL hockey tomorrow night. Game number 4 of the Stanley Cup playoff beginning at 6 p.m. The New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. New York Rangers leads that series 2-1. New Jersey won last night 2-1 in overtime. Down at Madison Square Garden. Here's a ground ball to second base. For the first, for out number 2, and head of the third is Jeremy Conforte. And 8:30 p.m. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs first round action. Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets. Vegas leads that one 2-1. They coming off a 5-4 victory over Winnipeg in double overtime. I remember watching it from Truman's Bar and Grill. I remember catching the tail end of it, and they were getting ready to start game number 3 between Tampa Bay and Toronto. Here's Alan West. Fouls it off, strike 1. West in the first game went 1 for 3 with a single and an RBI. Has 29 on the year. At third base is Jeremy Conforte. He was there with the double that drove in Ravi Merced. The 0-1 is a pop-up there. The first baseman calls for it. And he makes the catch for the third out. So 1 run on 2 hits. No errors. 1 left. We head to the top of the second inning. Central Methodist 1, Park 0. I think Tuesday night. Who's playing Tuesday? I can check my phone here. Why don't you check your phone? I can help you out. That is a Zane Morrow. 0 for 3. What? Oh, really? Let's see, XFL. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for Central Methodist. No runs, a hit, and no errors for Park. Zane Morrow in the first game went 0 for 3. Zane Morrow has 6 homers, 30 RBIs now on the year. .80 tie in the third period between Golden State and Sacramento. A 1-0 pitch is a foul ball, strike 1. Bottom of the 5th inning, Central Methodist softball leading 7-0. Strike 2. The 1-2 inside, 2-2. Looks like Haley Cotter is starting today from her home fans, originally from Smithville. 2-2 pitch to the grounder, fouled. Tuesday night, first Game 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Beginning at 6 p.m. with New York Islanders and Carolina. I think Carolina leads that series 3-1. 8:30 p.m. Los Angeles Kings and Edmonton Oilers. And Carolina's up 3-1. And Edmonton and Kings play tonight. Strike 3 called. So 1 out now. There's Trent Turner. In the first game, went 1 for 4. First pitch. That's a bit high. Want to know the count. Here's the pitch. Strike. 1-1. Turner has 2 homers, 22 RBIs. Here's the 0-2 is a fly ball. I think Allen West will have some room and makes the catch for out number 2. Here's Casey Marichal. Did not play. Marichal is 1 homer, 6 RBI. He did start in game number 1 on Saturday. Here's the pitch to him. Strike, 0-1 now. Well, he's on cruise control. Of course, enjoyed meeting his dad, Brad, lives in Columbus, and then 2 hours there. Canton, Ohio, home with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Fouls it off, 0-2. With Kenneth Melendez on deck. Oh, and 2 the count. 0-2 pitch. Lines a shot. That's a base hit there. A 2-out hit there for Casey Marichal. Here's Kenneth Melendez. In the first game today, went 2 for 3 with 2 singles. 2 homers, 18 RBIs on the year. First pitch. Ball, 1-0 the count. 1-0 the count to Casey Melendez. Checks that runner. The 1-0. There goes the runner. Strike called. So Marichal steals second. 1-1 the count. 1-1 the count with Keith Maldonado on deck. 1-1 the count. Daniel Maldonado is on deck. One pitch. Fouls it to the screen. 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ethan Marichal second, single, stole second. Now wants a new baseball. One and 2 the count to Casey Melendez. You work from the stretch position. The 1-2. Hits the ground ball. Nice job there by, and that's a base hit there. Coming in to score the tying run. That's Corey Brantford, and it's a tie game at 1. Here's Daniel Maldonado. The first game today went 1 for 3 with the double. Maldonado has 2 homers, 10 RBIs. After 2 quick outs, 2 straight hits. And the pitch. Popped it foul. 0-1 the count. Here on Senior Day. 0-1 now. Checks on the runner. I think they got him. Yes, sir. Good job. Good tag by Jeremy Conforte. So 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 1. Head to the bottom of the second inning. A tie game at 1. Giarola, 1-1. One run, 3 hits, no errors for Park. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors for Central Methodist. As Tommy Giarola up there, 1 for 4 with a single. 2 homers, 13 RBIs on the year. Followed by Joseph Weatherford and Khalil Thresher. First pitch. It's a ground ball. That's a fair ball. Oh, it's foul. Boy, that was close. It looked like it was fair, but turned to the left and went foul. 0-1 the count on Tommy Giarola. And 1 the count on Giarola. The 0-1. Ball 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tommy Giarola. One and 1 the count. 2-1 the count. Two and 1 the count to Tommy Giarola. Strike 2-2. Two and 2 the count. 2-2 pitch. There's our liner. Trapped it. Throw the first and out number 1. Here's Joseph Weatherford. Went 1 for 2 with 2 walks and an RBI. Weatherford has 3 homers, 34 RBIs on the year. Nobody on. 1 out. Bottom of the second inning. That's a strike call. 0-1 now. Khalil Thrasher on deck. He batted 1 time as a pinch hitter. Here's the 0-1. It's a high fly ball in the center field. Center fielder has some room and makes the catch for out number 2. Two quick outs now for Khalil Thrasher. He batted 1 time in the first game there. Rounded out to the pitcher and then driving a run. 2 homers, 13 RBIs. 2 homers, 13 RBIs on the year for Khalil Thrasher. So 2 outs. First pitch to him. Swings and misses. Strike 1. Dominic Van Dorn on deck. Oh and 1 to count. 0-1. It's a high pop foul. That will be out of play. 0-2 to count. 0-2 the count to Khalil Thrasher. 0-2. It's a little chopper to the third baseman. Has it. Throws over the first for a 1-2-3 inning. We are through 2. The game is tied at 1. That's in Los Angeles and Edmonton. One run, 3 hits, no errors for Park. No, 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors for Central Methodist. And Daniel Maldonado is the batter. Remember, he was at bat when Kenneth Melendez was picked off first base. First pitch to him. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 to count. The 0-1. That's up high. 1-1. 1 ball and a strike. 1-1 to count. 1-1 pitch. Fouls it to the screen. 1-2. 1-2 the count. They will have the senior activities afterwards. 1-2 pitch. Fly ball. I think Allen West has some room. Just right in front of the warning track and out number 1. For Alex Rodriguez, who grounded out to Robbie Merced on the very first pitch of the game. That's a ball. 1-0 to count. 1-0 pitch. Fouls it off. 1-1 now. One and one to count. 1 ball and a strike to Alex Rodriguez. Central Methodist won the first game 12-5. They scored 8 in the 6th inning. Strike 2 after the game was tied at 4. 1-2 the count. 1-2 pitch. Fouls it off. 1-2. 1-2 the count. Of course, Tuesday night we got hockey. Game number 5 between New York Islanders and Carolina. It's a ground. There's a base hit there. So 1 out hit there for Alex Rodriguez. Here's Yadiel Santana. He singled his first time up. A little past 4:30 on this Sunday, April 23rd. Final regular season home game. And after that, they have 4 with Culver, then the conference tournament. Lines up. Nice catch by Giarola. The first, not in time. Good job there by Giarola on the liner. But back is Alex Rodriguez. So 2 outs now for Bryce Dye. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. 24 minutes. Baseball tonight with Kevin Connors, along with host, Jeff Passon. Oh, that kind of gets away. Van Dorn has it. He'll throw the second. Not in time. Good job there by Dominic Van Dorn, keeping it from going into the backstop. But a good effort there, trying to get Rodriguez, who is now at second, and the count is 1-0. Jeff Passon, Tim Kirchen. Goes for baseball tonight and 6 p.m. The Mets and the Giants. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Then next Sunday night, it should be a fun one there. A rematch of this past World Series. The Philadelphia Phillies and the Houston Astros. That should be a fun one there as well. Of course, the game with the Mets and Giants, they'll have Carl Ravage, Waro Perez, David Cohn, Buster Olney. 2-1 the count. 2 balls and a strike. And I believe the game time temperature in San Francisco should be around 55 degrees. 2-1 to count. It's the ground ball. Nice job by Jeremy Conforti. Stays with it for the 3rd out. So no runs on 1 hit. No errors. And they leave 1. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. A tie game at 1. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for Park. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for Central Methodist. Dominic Van Dorn up there. He batted. He played in the second game yesterday. Well, he went 0 for 3. 2 homers, 8 RBIs on the year. Dorn, the junior from Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan, around the Detroit area. First pitch. Strike. 0-1 the count. No balls and 1 strike. Oh and 1 the count. 0-1. That's inside. 1-1 now. 1 ball and a strike. Bobby Nichols to follow, and then Robbie Merced. The 1-1. Chops it foul. 1-2. Excuse me. 1-2 the count. 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 call, so 1 out now. 6 in a row retired, and here's Bobby Nichols. He flew out to right field his first time up. First pitch. That gets away. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. 1 ball, no strikes on Bobby Nichols. The 1-0. 2-0 the count. Two and 0 to count. Bobby Nichols. It's a little chopper to the third baseman. That is a fair. Oh, it's a foul ball. Foul ball. 2-1 the count to Bobby Nichols. With Robbie Merced on deck. Two and 1 on Bobby Nichols. 1 out in the bottom of the third inning. 1-1 tie. 1-1. 2-1. Now it's 3-1. Robbie Merced on deck. 3-1 the count. Here's a 3-1. It's a high fly ball to right field. Right fielder is giving chase. And he makes the catch there. And there's 2 quick outs there. So Robbie Merced tripled his first time up. Robbie Merced tripled and scored the first run on the Jeremy Conforti double. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. Strike 1. 1-1 the count to Roberto Merced. On 1 the count. 0-1. Strike 2. 0-2 now. 0-2 the count. Oh, 2. And that's a pop-up there. Let's see. Second baseman, that may be out of play. It is. Still 0-2. They're checking to make sure he's okay. Well, time called. Looks like everybody's okay. Count is 0-2 on Robbie Merced. Two outs, bottom of the third inning. The 0-2. It's a high fly ball to center field. Center fielder has it. Makes the catch for the third out. Another 1-2-3 inning goes Central Methodist. We're through 3. Still tied at 1. Now we just gotta get some runs here. One run, 4 hits, no errors for Park. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for Central Methodist. Ricardo Hernandez grounded out to Tommy Giarola. First pitch. That's up high. 1-0 to count. Top of the fourth inning. Tie game 1. Central Methodist led 1-0 on the RBI double by Jeremy Conforte. And Park tied it up. In the second, fly ball. I think Bobby Nichols has some room. And he makes the catch for out number 1. 1 out now for Zane Morrow. He struck out his first time up. Kenneth Melendez drove in the run that tied the score at 1 apiece. Zane Morrow is the batter. First pitch to him. That is a ball inside. The 1-0 pitch. That's up high. 2-0 to count. Two and 0 to count. 2-0 pitch. Lines it just over the glove of Jeremy Conforti into the right field corner. West. And it's a double there. So a 1-out double for Zane Morrow. Here's Trent Turner. He flew out to Allen West his first time up. 5 hits already for Park. Runner at second. 1 out in the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the curveball. Strike 1. Oh, 1 to count. 0-1. Now they check. They fake the throw. And still 0-1. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 0-2 the count. Oh, and 2 the count to Trent Turner. 0-2. Strike 3 called. Dominic Van Dorn has to throw the first to complete the strikeout. So 2 outs now for Casey Marichal. He singled his first time up. And scored the tying run on the RBI single by Kenneth Melendez. First pitch to him. Strike. 0-1 to count. Of course, the next time you hear me, of course, it'll probably be Saturday against a softball game against Benedictine. Regain show at 12:45, 1 o'clock start time. I think softball is on the verge. Getting the 1 seed in the softball tournament. Strike 2 there. That'll start on May the 4th down in Baldwin City, Kansas. Of course, baseball tournament will also start on May the 4th. That's in Ozark, Missouri at U.S. Bank Park, which is also where the state baseball championships. 0-2 pitch. 1-2 the count. Of course, it'll be interesting if they're going to host it in 2024, of course, with Evangel leaving the conference. 1-2 the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Casey Marichal. 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left out. We're halfway home and a tie game at 1. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for Park. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors for Central Methodist as Jeremy Conforti up there. He has a double and RBI. Jeremy Conforti. Bottom of the 7th inning, Central Methodist leading Park 9-1. First pitch to him, fouls it off, strike 1. On 1 the count. Here's the 0-1. It's a high fly ball hit well to center field. Center fielder goes back, and he makes the catch right in front of the warning track. There's 1 out now. Tanner Sears grounded out to second his first time up. First pitch to him. Ball 1. Golden State leading Sacramento 114-109. The 1-0 pitch to Tanner Sears. 2-0 the count. Golden State outscored Sacramento 37-23 in the third quarter. Foul ball, 2-1 to count. Three and 1 to count. Three balls and a strike. 3-1 pitch. Oh, I hit him. So 1 out hit by pitch. Here's Allen West. Popped the first his first time up. Heading toward the 5 o'clock hour. West Sears at first, and that's a ball, 1-0 the count. Tommy Giarola is on deck. Only 2 hits, both came in the first inning. There's his mom, Shelly, taking pictures on between first base and home plate. 2-0 the count. Two and 0 the count on Allen West. Had a great visit with him in between games there. 2-0 pitch. There's a strike. 2-1. 2-1 on Allen West. Oh. 2-1 the count. 2-1 pitch. Swings and misses, 2-2. Bottom of the 4th inning, tying game at 1. Sears was hit by a pitch. Two-two pitch. It's a little chopper to the third baseman. His only play is the first, not in time. Good hustle there by Allen West. And a good hustle the second by Tanner Sears. So 2 on and 1 out for Tommy Giarola. He grounded out the second his first time up. Sears at second. West at first on the infield hit. First pitch to him. It's a high pop up there. That may go out of play. 0-1 in the count. After this one, baseball has 4 games with Culver Stockton. 4-game series with doubleheader on Friday at 1 o'clock. Second game at 3. Games 3 and 4 on Saturday. First game of that one at 1. Fourth game of the series at 3 p.m. in Canton, Missouri. 0-1 to count. 0-1. That's a bit high. 1-1. On deck is Joseph Waterford. 1-1 to count. On Tommy Giarola. Now they check on the runner. One and one to count. The 1-1. Lines a shot in the left field. Left fielder goes back. He can't get it. That's off the Green Monster. Coming in to score is Sears. Throw to second. Not in time. A double, and Central Methodist leads it 2-1 there. And for Tommy Giarola, that's 14 RBIs on the year. Hopefully we put up a crooked number like we did in the 6th inning of game number 1 when we scored 8 runs there. That was a great hustle there by Tommy Giarola to get the second. Here's Weatherford. First pitch to him. Ooh, outside, 1-0 to count. To Joseph Weatherford with 1 out. Time called there. Of course, the inning started off when Jimmy Conforte flew out to center field. Khalil Thrasher is on deck. One and 0 to count. Looks like the infield is in all the way. I remember that 6th inning in game 1, they had the infield in, and of course, result 2 RBI hit for Central Methodist. Strike call, 1-1 now. 1-1 to count to Joseph Weatherford. West at third. At second base is Tommy Giarola. The 1-1. Fouls it to the screen, and it's 1-2. 1-2 the count to Joseph Weatherford. Even though the program says Flower Mound, Texas, but of course meeting his dad Steve, they live in Batesville, Arkansas. 1-2 pitch. A little bit high. 2-2 the count. Came from Lyon. Of course, from what I've learned, they are now going NCAA Division III in the fall of 2023. 2-2 the count. At third base is Alan West. Tommy Giarola is at second. 2-2 pitch. It's a fly ball there. That would probably score Alan West. Center fielder makes the catch. Tagging up is Alan West. Throw will go into third, and West scores on the sac fly there by Joseph Weatherford. And for Joseph Weatherford, that's his 35th of the year, and a 3-1 lead for Central Methodist. Here's Khalil Thrasher. He grounded out to third, his first. First pitch to him. There's a ball inside. 1-0 the count. One and 0 the count to Khalil Thresher. The 1-0. Fouls it off. 1-1. One ball and a strike to Khalil Thresher. At second is Tommy Giarola. Checks on the runner. Coming close to a balk. I remember we had 6 balks against Peru State on March the 12th, and that was in a doubleheader. The 6 balks were in a doubleheader. 1-1 the count. The 1-1. Lines a shot in the left field and makes the catch for the third out. But Central Methodist gets 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors, and they leave 1. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Central Methodist 3, Park 1. You know. Three runs, 4 hits, no errors for Central Methodist. 1 run, 5 hits, and no errors for Park. As Kenneth Melendez, after a single, drove in a run his first time up. Central Methodist softball defeated Park 9-3. 9 runs, 13 hits, and an error. 3 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Strike call 0-1 now. Central Methodist is 30-8, 17-3, most likely have clinched at least a share for that number 1 spot in the conference tournament. 3 big RBIs by Elizabeth Palumbo. Haley Connor gets the win. She is 4-0 on the air. Strike 2. Of course, I'm looking forward to meeting her team. Meet from Smithville. I think she was at the ball game. That is Raylan Turner. One-two pitch. Strike 3 called. They have to throw the first to complete the out. So 1 out now. 3 consecutive strikeouts. There is activity in the Central Methodist bullpen. That's Alfred Iora. As Daniel Maldonado flew out to Allen West, his first time up. First pitch to him. Ooh, outside, 1-0 to count. One ball, no strikes. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Tell you what, that Clayton Burke is in rhythm. 1-1 pitch. Yes, sir. Strike 2. 1-2 the count. Strike 3 call. 5 strikeouts now, 4 in a row. 4 in a row. Fifth all together. Now, there looks like they give a warning there. Probably has to do with balls and strikes. I know there used to be a rule in Major League Baseball that if you argue an umpire with balls and strikes, that's usually an automatic ejection. And I can remember those, and I think Earl Weaver was known to get thrown out. And I think he got thrown out 98 times. The majority of was on balls and strikes, and I remember a few of them several times when I think it was against the Kansas City Royals. I can remember watching those games on television. And now you see the conversation continues on. They're still talking. So 2 quick outs now for Alex Rodriguez. 1 for 2 with the single. The first pitch. Lines a base hit up the middle. 6 hits now for Park University. And now here's Yadiel Santana. 1 for 2 with a single. And it looks like Alfred Uora is warming up. I think he pitched in the 7th inning of game number 2. In the second game of that doubleheader. Of course, Justin Guzman gave you 3 solid innings. Checks on the runner. Remember, he's already picked off a runner. That came in the 2nd inning when he picked off Kenneth Melendez. The first pitch fouls it off. 1-1 the count. One ball, 1 strike on Yadiel Santana. Bryce Dye on deck. The pitch. Lines that one. That's foul up around the hill area. 1-2 to count. Hopefully we'll talk to Nate Breland about this 4-gamer. Of course, senior activities. And, of course, preview the matchup with Culver Stockton on Friday. 1-2 pitch. That's a foul ball there. One, two, the count on Yadiel Santana. The 1-2. Cue shot, but Robbie Merced has it. He'll just take the short play, and that is the 3rd out. So no runs on 1 hit. No errors, and they leave 1. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Central Methodist 3, Park 1. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Central Methodist. 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors for Park. Now Golden State leads Sacramento 126 to 125. And I believe that's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Dominic Van Dorn struck out his first time up. And I believe that series will be tied at 2. That's a ball. I believe that's going to be a fun series. Boston leads Carolina 4-2 in the third period. Then Carolina could be up 3-1. Carolina defeated New York Islanders 5. That's a base hit for Dominic Van Dorn. 5th hit of the game there. They lead 3-1 now. I think Dallas and Minnesota getting started in about 14 minutes. So Caden Doan is the courtesy runner. Here's Bobby Nichols, 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts to right. Tries to do a little short game. They throw over there. Good hustle there by Caden Doan. Strike 1 is the call. They throw back over there. One and one the count on Bobby Nichols. One and one the count to Bobby Nichols. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. So 1-2 the count to Bobby Nichols. On deck is Robbie Merced. Caden Doan, the courtesy runner for Dominic Van Dorn. Central Methodist just trying to add to that 3-1 game. They throw over there. One, two, the count to Bobby Nichols. The 1-2. Fouls that one off. Still 1-2. 1-2 the count. To Bobby Nichols from Detroit, Michigan. Home of the Detroit Line. So that's their annual Thanksgiving Day Classic. 2-2 the count. And I think next week they will announce the 2023 NFL schedule. Two and two the count. They throw over there. Back goes Caden Doan. They're trying to test him. Caden Doan is from Frisco, Texas. Central Methodist is going to go for win number 32, but most importantly, 22-4 in the conference. Here's the pitch. Oh, that's outside. 3-2 now. Central Methodist led 1-0. Then Park tied it up. Then 2 more in the fourth. That's where we're at. 3-1. 3-2 pitch. That's a high pop up there. Right fielder gives it chase. I wonder if maybe Nate Bruno may tell him maybe kind of shorten your string, shorten up, maybe hit one to left. 3-2 the count on Bobby Nichols. Bottom of the 5th inning. They check on him. I think that's the 3rd time in a row. One of the new rules they have in Major League Baseball, you're allowed one pickoff throw to first base. Three-two pitch. Well, that's ball 4 now. So 1st and 2nd, and nobody out. For Robbie Merced, 1 for 2 with a triple. Merced, it's at, excuse me. So Merced 1 for 2 with the triple. On with the 5th inning. We see we can get some insurance runs for Clayton Burke. First pitch. Merced tries to bunt. That's a strike. 0-1 now. Playing a little small ball there. Why not? When you have 3-1 and you have 1st and 2nd there, you want move those runners in the scoring position. On 1 to count. Tries the bunt. Bunt is down. They throw it over to 2nd. And they get Caden Doan, and there's 2 outs. Oh, wait a minute. They got Caden Doan. Okay. So 2 outs now for Jeremy Conforte. 1 for 2 with a double and an RBI. So Nichols is still at first. Doan thought maybe he dropped the ball, went to 3rd, but they say he caught it. And then the pitcher from Park threw the 2nd to complete the out. So 3-1 now. Nichols is a great runner. If he can hit a shot in the gaps or maybe down that deep area of left field, or maybe the deep part of right field, you know, that could score Bobby Nichols. Jeremy Conforti back. Of course, I remember meeting his dad, Dan, and he even took a picture of me in the press box. Ball 2. 2-0 the count. 2 balls and no strikes on Jeremy Conforte. Tanner Sears is on deck. 2-0 the count. 2-0 pitch. Swings and misses. Strike 1. 2-1 the count. Two and 1 the count on Jeremy Conforte. 2-1 pitch. Strike 2. 2-2 the count. 5 hits for Central Methodist. 3-1's our score. 2-2 the count to Jeremy Conforte. Here's the 2-2. Cue shot. That's a base hit there. They're sending Nichols over to 3rd. Nichols, he'll be there with a 2-out hit there. So Conforte 2 for 3 with a single and a double. And it's 1st and 3rd now for Tanner Sears. 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch. That started that 2-run 4th inning there. So Nichols at 3rd. And he is a good runner. Conforte's at 1st. There you see the Park catcher, Casey Marichal, directing the traffic. Just like the great Johnny Bench did for the Cincinnati Reds. First and 3rd, and 2 outs. A little bit inside, 1-0 to count, with Allen West on deck. 1-0 to count. Nichols at 3rd, Conforte at 1st. The 1-0. That is, I think, did not go. He held up in time. 2 balls and no strikes. If we had those NBC action, stop action photography, you can always see where the ball would motion. 2-0 pitch. Up high, 3-0 the count. Alan West is on deck. Three and one the count to Tanner Sears. Leads the team with RBIs 53, 11 home runs. There's the count. 3-1 the count. 3 balls and a strike. Three to one's our score. Let's see if we can add another run. That's ball 4 now. Now the bases are loaded full of Eagles. For Alan West, 1 for 2 with a single. So bases loaded full of Eagles. Looks like a time has been called for. And looks like a courtesy runner. That's Terry Tolliver Jr. is the courtesy runner. Bases loaded full of Eagles. Alan West 1 for 2. Pitch to him. That's a strike. 0-1 the count. Tommy Giarola on deck. Bottom of the 5th inning. See if Central Methodist can add to that 3-1 game. Base hit could bring you to. A double could just clearing the bases. Same thing with a triple. Here's the 0-1. It's a high fly ball in the center field. Center fielder has some room and makes the catch for the 3rd out. So, no runs on just 2 hits. No errors, 3 left on. We head to the 6th inning. Central Methodist 3, Park 1. Three runs, 6 hits, no errors for Central Methodist. 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors for Park. And that is Bryce Dye up there, 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch to him. Lines a shot. I think Alan West will play it on the bounce. So leadoff single there. Here is Ricardo Hernandez. 0 for 2 on the day. Trying to keep it where it is. A 3-1 ball game. First pitch. Strike. 0-1. No question about it. 0-1 the count. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 now. Ball 1-1 now. A little past 5:30 in about 29 minutes. It'll be Sunday Night Baseball. The New York Mets and the San Francisco Giants. Alfred Yoro is warming up. 1-1 to count the 1-1. Ball 2-1. 2-1 to count to Ricardo Hernandez. 2-1 pitch. Chops it foul. 2-2. 2-2 to count. Zane Morrow on deck. 2-2 the count. Two pitch. Strike 3, call 1 down now in the top of the 6th. 6 strikeouts already for Clayton Burke. Zane Morrow 1 for 2 with a double. Central Methodist softball won 2 games there. First game 8-0. And then 9-3 over Parks. Central Methodist softball 30-8, 17-3. They throw back over there and bang bang play as Trey Rosenfloss is the new first baseman there. First pitch to him. That's a strike on the outside corner. Good job of framing it by Dominic Van Dorn, as the great Joe Garagiola would say on NBC television. 0-1 to count. The 0-1. Same spot, but it's 1-1. Trent Turner is on deck. They check on the runner. Back he comes. Looks like a truck carrying a golf cart going up a hill there. Along Elm Street. It's a high fly ball. That will go foul. 1-2 the count. One and two the count to Zane Morrow. 1-2 the count. The 1-2. Lines a shot. That will be a base hit. 8th hit of the game now. I believe that's Terry Tolliver Jr. out in left field. So first and second now for Trent Turner. 0 for 2 on the day. Everybody else remains the same. Three to one's our score. 1 out in the 6th inning. The pitch. There's a strike call. 0-1 now. Looks like Casey Marichal is on deck. 0-1 to count. 0-1. Chops it foul. 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Went Norris from the catbird seat of Estes Field. Oh, 2 pitch. Ooh, nice stop by Dominic Van Dorn. 1-2. One and two the count. 1-2 pitch. Hits the ground ball. Merced will go to Giro for one. The first, that's a double play. 6-4-3. Your pitcher's best friend. No runs on two hits. No errors and one left on. We head to the bottom of the sixth. Central Methodist 3, Park 1. My. Of course, give you the upcoming sports event there, where softball will be at Mount Mercy on Wednesday, games 3 and 5. And I believe that will determine, could be the number one seed in the Heartland Conference softball tournament. There's Tommy Girola, 1 for 2 with the double. That scored Tanner Sears. First pitch to Girola. I believe they hit him. No, it's ball one. I thought it did. 1-0 the count on Tommy Girola. 14 RBIs on the year. The 1-0 is a foul ball. Strike one. 1-1 the count. Now 20 minutes, it's the Mets and the Giants on Sunday Night Baseball. Carl Ravitch, Eduardo Perez, David Cohn, and Buster Olney. 1-1 the count. 1-1 pitch. Oh, way outside. 2-1. Followed by Joseph Weatherford and looks like Khalil Thresher. 2-1 to count. 3-1 now. 3-1 now. 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4 now. So leadoff walk. Here's Joseph Weatherford. 0 for 1. He had a sac fly to center field. That drove in the third run, scoring Allen West. So Joseph Weatherford. So now a 3-1 ball game. You remember that 6th inning in game number 1, Central Methodist scored 8 big runs, sending 13 men to the plate. First pitch to him. Swing and a miss. Strike one. And that 12-5 victory. Hopefully Central Methodist can continue on like that in game number 2. In this second game. The 0-1 tries a bunt, and that's up high. 1-1 the count. One ball. Now they check on the runner. One and one, the count to Joseph Weatherford. Tries the bunt. 2-1. Not far enough to advance Tommy Girola on the pass ball. 2-1 to count. Two and one to count. Girola at first with the walk. Fouls it off. 2-2. Two and two now on Joseph Weatherford. 2-2 pitch. Ball 3. And it's a balk. And I have a feeling Angel LeBron did not go to a complete set. It's 2-2 now. That's usually the most common one on balks. And I can tell you that in the years I've watched Major League Baseball on television. Most of the time it's usually in the National League. 2-2 pitch. 3-2 now. And I think the best, probably one of the best umpires I think was known to call for balks would be, I think the two best ones, I think it would be Doug Harvey and Harry Wendelstead. 3-2 the count. Three-two pitch. Ball 4 now, so 2 consecutive walks. Here's Khalil Thrasher. So Khalil Thrasher, 0 for 2. So a new pitcher comes on the mound. Call the bullpen. Sponsored by Verizon Wireless. So 5 innings from Angel LeBron. I believe that's Nash Golston is the new pitcher. From Overland Park, Kansas. There you see the numbers on Dash Goldston, 0-2, 6.75 ERA, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts. While Park, their baseball has 4 more games this week. They are at home against Missouri Valley. That'll begin on Friday. So now the runners go back to first and second. That's Tommy Giarola. And I think that's Gannon Ruckman, the courtesy runner. Of course, his dad, Steve, is there from Freeport, Illinois, around the Rockport, Illinois area. Looking forward to those chocolate chip cookies. Always love their chocolate chip cookies. They do a great job. Well, it reminds me of those chocolate chip cookies that my mother, Velda, and my grandma, Thelma Gilpin, used to make. First and second. Nobody out. Bottom of the sixth inning. First pitch to him. There goes the runners. And there's the double steal. And this time second and third. And you know what? Tim McCarver is smiling down from heaven. Now the infield has to come in. Fresher, if he can hit it to the outfield, they'll score a run. Ball 2, 2-0 the count. Looks like Dominic Van Dorn is on deck. Two balls and no strikes. The 2-0 pitch. Swings and misses, 2-1 there. Giro is at third. Looks like Gannon Ruckman is at second. 2-1 the count, 2-1 pitch. That's a strike on the inside corner, 2-2. 2-2 the count to Khalil Fresher. Base hit can bring you two. 0-2 pitch. Hits the ground ball right through the drawn infield. Girola will score. Ruckman will be rounding third. He scores. It's 5-1 Central Methodist. A 2 RBI hit for Khalil Thresher gives him a total of 15 on the year. And a 5-1 lead there. And that's Joey Fitzgerald Jr., the courtesy runner. From Crystal Lake, Illinois, one of my famous first, when it comes to Crystal Lake, Illinois, first time I ever rode an Amtrak. I was going to Chicago with my dad, my two sisters, and Uncle Jim. 5-1 now. As Dominic Van Dorn up there, he's thinking bunt. Tries a bunt. They throw over there. I believe the count is 1-0. 5-1 Central Methodist on the 2 RBI single by Khalil Thresher. A foul ball strike, another first. When I came to Crystal Lake, Illinois, I remember the first video game I ever watched was Atari. And the first game ever on Atari was table tennis. That was when they had back then a net. It looks like a white chalkboard. There's a bunt down. Underhand throws over the first. And the second is Joey Fitzgerald Jr. for out number 1. Here's Bobby Nichols, 0 for 2 with a walk. And then instead of a regular table like you play it, they had just a square. And instead of a racket, a ping pong, instead of a racket, they used a little stick there, and instead of a ping pong ball, it was a little square there. And they would jump right at you there. There's a base hit up the middle. They're going to wave Fitzgerald Jr. around. He's being waved around. Throw is up the line. He is in there. And it's suddenly 6-1 now. So it's a base hit. He'll take second on the throw. And Bobby Nichols has 19 RBIs on the year. Here's Robbie Merced, 1 for 3 with a triple. So it's a single. RBI takes second on the throw. 8 hits this inning for Central Methodist. Still 1 out. First pitch. There goes Nichols. He's thinking 3. He's there. Strike 1 is the call there. Six to 1 now. The 0-1. Hits the high fly ball into left field. That is well hit. That's off the Green Monster. Bobby Nichols will score. And there's Robbie Merced in the second. And it's now 7-1 now. And Merced has 35 RBIs on the year. Here's Jeremy Conforti. I know I enjoyed meeting his dad earlier today. 4 big runs now. You remember in game 1 in the 6th inning, they ended 8 runs there. Conforti, 2 for 3, a single, double, and RBI. Gives him 43 on the year. From Villa Park, Illinois. Ball 1 there. 1 ball, no strikes. One and 0 the count. The 1-0. Here's a ground ball. His only play will be over to first. And there's 2 outs there. And hit to third is Robbie Merced. He was running on contact. Here is Tanner Sears. 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and also drew a walk. After this, we'll have the senior activities, and then following that up, hopefully we'll talk it over with Nate Breland about this doubleheader. Talked about all the seniors that meant to the program. There's a lot of them. Of course, 2021, the highlighter, I would say, the year they went to the College World Series down in Lewiston, Idaho. And could be on the way to their 8th consecutive national tournament. 2-0 the count. It'd be interesting where they be playing their first round games at. Hopefully we'll know the host site sometime this week, I'm thinking. 2-0 the count. There is a chance any Central Methodist could host one, but most likely they could be on the road. I think there's 10 host sites. 3-0 the count on Tanner Sears. The 3-0. Ball 4. So first and third, the 9th man to bat is Alan West. 1 for 3. Bases low. Actually, first and third. 2 outs. West, the 9th man to bat. There's a strike call. 0-1. Ami Giarola on that. He started that inning off with the walk. Remember, it was 4-4. Then Central Methodist added 8, make it 12-4. Park had a run in the 7, make it 12-5 in the first game. Here's a high fly ball hit well in the left center field. That is up against the wall. Merced will score. in Tanner Sears to make it 9-1 on a 2 RBI double. And for Allen West, that's 31 RBIs on the year and a 9-1 ball game. Tommy Giarola up there. He is 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. He started that inning off with the walk. Now part of the 6-run inning. High fly ball in the left field. That is a foul ball. Strike one. Central Methodist has really opened the lead up to a 9-1 ball game. Oh and 1 to count. 0-1 pitch. Fouls it off. Strike two. They're looking for a 4-game sweep. They won the first game yesterday, 16-0. Game 2 was yesterday, 4-3 on the game-winning RBI single by Tommy Girola in the 7th. Won the third game earlier today, 12-5. Now leading 9-1. That's a ball, 1-2 to count, with Joseph Weatherford on deck. One-two pitch. 2-2. 2-2 the count. 2-2 the count to Tommy Giarola. 2-2 pitch. 3-2 now. 3-2 the count. 3-2 pitch. Fouls it off. 3-2. The 10th man to bat this inning for Central Methodist. And that first game of game number Central Methodist had 14 men went to the plate. It's a little chopper to the shortstop. Throws over the first. And that's the third out. But Central Methodist, they get 6 big runs there on just 4 hits. No errors, 1 left. We head to the 7th inning. Central Methodist 9, Park 1. Yeah, 14. Wow. That's Larry Riddle Jr. Yes, sir. So A.J. Riddle, 4-1, 4.35 ERA, 4 walks, 16 strikeouts. From Dearborn Heights, Michigan, around the Detroit area. And then probably somewhere down there, a little bit north, you go to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. I remember going there couple of times, even though it's been 34 years. I remember you go see the Sulaks. And I remember you take a boat ride and you got to watch the... There's Casey Marischal, 1 for 2 now. It looks like Sunday Night Baseball is underway between the Mets and the Giants. Carl Ravage, David Cohn, Eduardo Perez, Buster Olney. Here's the pitch. That's a bit high. 1-0. Tomorrow night, game number 4 of the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs. The New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. 6 o'clock there. New York Rangers lead the series 2-1. New Jersey won game 3 last night 2-1 in overtime. And at 8:30 p.m., the Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets in game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoff. Vegas leads that series 2-1. They won game 3 last night 5-4 in double overtime. One and one to count. The 1-1 pitch. There's a strike. 1-2. 6 solid innings there from Clayton Burke. Gave out just 1 run on 8 hits. I hit him for 6 strikeouts. The 1-2. 2-2. 2-2 the count. Two pitch. Strike 3 call. Good start there to the 7th. Here's Kenneth Melendez. 1 for 2 with a single. First pitch to him. That's a strike. 0-1 the count. 0-1 now to Kenneth Melendez. 0-1 pitch. Here's a ground ball. Rosenfloss to Ray J. Riddle for out number 2. 2 quick outs. And it's up to Danny Maldonado. 0 for 2. Of course, like we mentioned earlier, I believe his Uncle Candy played for the Dodgers and was part of the 1985 team that made it to the NLCS against the St. Louis Cardinals. Later played for the Giants, and he was on the 87 team that played the Cardinals in the 1987 National League Championship Series. 1-0 the count. Just one more out to go in front of 40,000 fans here. Millions are watching on television across the world, and a strike call. 1-1 now. Trying to go for win number 32, but most importantly, 22-4 in the conference. 1-1 the count. Here it is. Hits the ground ball. That should do it. That is Weatherford. That cut 40, and that's the winner, folks. A 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. Central Methodist with a 9-1 victory. Give you the final line totals there. 9 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Central Methodist. 1 run, 8 hits, and no errors for Parks. So Central Methodist with a 4-game sweep. They won the first game 12-5, second game 9-1. Central Methodist is 32-12, 22-4 in the conference there. In a few months, I'll have the senior activities, and then we'll talk it over with Nate Breland there about today's 4-game sweep. And we'll also talk about the seniors, how they meant to the program. And, of course, most importantly, a preview of a game with Culver Stockton. Quentin Norris saying so long. For right now, let's go to our Baseball Tonight studios and Kevin Connors.
Would any parents and family participating in the senior ceremony please pull to the third base line? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the third base side of the field. As we now recognize our 2023 CMU Baseball Senior Class. Our first senior is Alan West. Alan is a nursing major from Louisville, Texas, and he is escorted today by his parents, Kimberly and Tristan West, grandparents, Tom and Linda Ladisall, and grandmother Beth Calder. In the classroom, Alan is a two-time member of the team. On the field, 2A Player of the Year. Allen's favorite memory was throwing a no-hitter while also batting 2 for 4 with a double and a triple against Benedictine College. After graduation, Allen plans to obtain a nursing license and begin work back home in Texas. Thank you, Mr. Allen West. Our next senior is Khalil Thrasher. Khalil is a business and finance major from Eudora, Kansas. He's being escorted today by his mother, Carissa Lynch. Khalil's achievements include earning all-conference honors from 2019 to 2021 during his time with Nisho Community College, as well as winning the Hart Conference Tournament Championship in 2022. After graduation, Khalil plans on exploring various career paths in finance. He is excited to discover the best fit for his skills and interests while embarking on his professional journey. Thank you, Mr. Khalil Thrasher. Up next is Terry Tolliver Jr. Terry is a business major with a concentration in banking and finance from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He is escorted today by his parents, Terry Tolliver Sr. and Zella Tolliver, his sister Tiara, and his niece Zuri. He was named the 2022 Fall Teams List and won a conference championship with the Eagles in the spring of 2022. Terry's favorite memory was traveling the Midwest with his brothers. His plans after graduation include getting his master's degree and pursuing a career in finance. Thank you, Mr. Terry Tolliver Jr. Our next senior is Trey Rassenfoss. Trey is a sports management major from Osage Beach, Missouri. He is escorted today by his parents, Ed and Kim Rassenfoss. Trey was named to the 2022 Fall Dean's List and won a conference championship with the Eagles in the spring of 2022. After graduation, he plans on staying on the staff as a graduate assistant coach while pursuing his master's degree in business administration. Thank you, Mr. Trey Rassenfoss. Torino, Italy. He is escorted today by his teammate Sebastian Escobar. His achievements include playing in 2 World Baseball Classics and 3 European tournaments with Team Italy, and winning the 2022 Hart Conference Tournament Championship with CMU last season. Tommaso's favorite memory is traveling with the guys and winning games. After graduation, he plans to obtain a bachelor's degree in athletic training. Thank you for everything, Mr. Tommaso Giarolo. Our next senior is Roberto Merced. Roberto is a criminal justice major from Springfield, Missouri. He is escorted today by his parents, Orlando and Shannon Merced. Roberto was a 2022 NAIA First Team All-American, the Hart Player of the Year, the CMU Male Newcomer of the Year, and a Hart First Team All-Conference selection for the Eagles. He holds the single-season program record for home runs and was tabbed as the 2023 NAIA Preseason All-American. Roberto's favorite memory was winning the conference tournament in his hometown of Springfield last spring. After graduation, he plans on pursuing a professional baseball career while also looking towards becoming both an entrepreneur and a coach. Thank you for everything, Mr. Roberto Merced. And our final senior is Gannon Ruckman. Gannon is a sports management major with a minor in business from Freeport, Illinois. He is escorted today by his parents, Steve and Julia Ruckman. Gannon is a 4-year member of the Dean's List, a member of the 2021 World Series team, and a 2-time conference champion. His favorite memory was clinching the first ever World Series berth in program history in St. Louis in 2021. After graduation, Gannon plans on attending Kaiser University in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he will obtain his master's degree in sports management and operations while serving as a graduate assistant with the baseball program. Thank you for everything, Mr. Gannon Ruckman. Ladies and gentlemen, please give one